Everybody wants to be in Taylor Swift's box.
Hello and welcome to episode number 104 of Unrelenting Now with extra zoomage.
We're live.
I'm Darren O'Neill. He is Gene Niftuliv. We are live on X. We are live on the Mighty No Agenda stream. And we are connecting not with the feed of Clean.
We're crossing streams, man.
But today with the Zooms.
Yeah.
Because you have assured me that Zoom is a much better way to go because your computer can't route the things the way you need it to.
Correct. Yeah.
And it's interesting with that because I wanted to get one of these Mac Studios. And although to be fair, I guess if all I have to do is get the Rogue Amoeba software to do.
Well, yes, but remember that thing doesn't just create a little hack the way that the Motu thing does on the PC. It's actually creating its own buffer and its own driver.
So it is not exact. There has to be a
software
way
audio
to do it, man. There has to be a way.
Well, there is a way. That's to use software that complies to the standards, which allow you to select which of the channels, not just which device you want to use.
Well, it's intriguing. And I'm
Somebody
curious.
should just add that to the browser. I agree with you. The solution for all this is just the browser should have that option.
Like
I don't know why it doesn't.
On the last episode, really the thing we need to do is see if the professional Clean feed, even getting it for a month, if that allows it to break down all those channels, then the question becomes, why isn't this just built in to the browser?
Yeah. And I suspect the answer is that it's the professional is literally exactly like the free one.
We bring all of this information from podcasters who go through similar things, trying to just get their gear to work, man.
Yeah. Well, the gear is working fine, I think. I will say now that you sound great. You sound exactly like you've always sounded on Clean Feed. When you played our theme, it was just a tad hot.
You have to adjust these things as they're being mixed on the fly. It's a beautiful day, though, when the technology kind of works. Because all this is doing is the same thing as Clean Feed, although you may even be getting a higher bit rate. Yeah. I don't know. You sound the same.
It should be, yeah.
But it may be a higher bit rate. You're not going to notice it much on voice.
Yeah, not much on voice. Voice, you could get away with probably 48 K bit rate.
Well, then you realize once you get the voice, it's still then going to be compressed again into another MP3. So, that's why you want the best possible. Yeah. And I've noticed I tend to mix my podcast way brighter than I would if they weren't then going to MP3, because the whole process of going to MP3 seems to kill a lot of that air end, the high end of the frequencies. So mixing it just a little bit, EQing it just a little bit, that's like, oh, this doesn't sound good in the original wave or FLAC. Once that's compressed down to MP3, and most people are listening to it through crappy headphones or through, God forbid, the little speaker in their phone, it's like that helps the audio, I think, be a little bit more intelligible. Because the last thing you want it to be is muffled and muddy as people are listening through crappy headphones.
You don't want muddy audio. Muddy audio sounds like crap.
Exactly. That's why you don't want it.
No.
Today, I do have to point out right up front, we are going to be talking about Taylor Swift because we are brought to you again by Dale from Down Under, and he wants some Taylor Swift talk.
Oh, does he? Interesting. Nice.
Came in with 154.97.
Well, hot damn, Dale. That's like a good 10x of what we get from anybody else.
I mean, that's like that is.
What is that? It's got to be like $200 Australian dollars.
It would have to be, yeah, because the Australian dollar do. I mean, CSB, he's given more in fiat fund coupons than you're given in those Satoshis. Dale is a hero.
Dale is a hero.
And I figured what we can do is go, little by little, because he sent a nice note with a couple different topics. And when the only guy that donates wants to hear us talk about stuff, we're like, all right.
Hell yeah.
He says, hope all is well with you both. Well, I can't speak for Gene, but everything's all right here.
Well, it's all good.
He said he had some unexpected travel, which I want to break that down to. What is unexpected? I wonder if he's like a hitman.
Exactly.
Works for the government.
He works for Five Eyes. Sorry, Dale. Didn't mean to out you.
He's like, some unexpected travel, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, when does that happen to people? Huh? What kind of job might that be? He said that gave him some time to think. And he said, sorry for the long note, but you guys are the best on these topics.
Yes, we are.
He also says he's enjoying the chats with Mr. N Energy. He says, always good to hear a different angle. And
right.
I mean, I listened to just a little brief part. It's in the queue, but it was recorded. Was that a Zoom recording? Because it sounded like his telephone that he was using. Was he on a phone?
Yes. Yeah, that's a good ear, man. He wasn't on a telephone.
You could tell this wasn't a full mic.
Right. Yeah.
It's the old time. I mean, you could tell when people used to call
old time recording.
I remember events just, within the last maybe 5 to 10 years, even on the major networks, when there was something big going on, when they had somebody was calling in via phone. It's like you never hear that anymore for some reason. Can't remember the last time I've seen a phone clip because the technology's there to do way better audio and video if somebody's calling into your show.
Yeah. I think there's still some people that, and by some people, I mean like middle-aged white political podcaster dudes that barely know a microphone from a hole in the ground.
Right. They're like, what do I do?
They still do shows with call-in numbers, and you'll see this.
Oh, yeah.
It's so weird when a podcast says, and call us at this number. I was like, what? You're kidding, right?
And I get it for these shows like Hog Story, which is a whole lot of fun. You were on that show.
I was once, yeah.
They got the voicemail line.
I think it was the, if I remember right, it was during the Marilyn Manson accusations of BDSM. And so the whole episode, we just talked about like BDSM and, keeping slaves and stuff like that.
Yeah, if you want to talk about keeping slaves and BDSM, there is no better show than Hog Story.
They were very... I never got reinvited back because I think I was too raw for them. I was a little too adult.
Isn't that how it is, though, with most shows that you go on? You're not usually invited back?
Well, you invited me back.
Hey, I know, but I'm an idiot. That's how it all works out. But the one guy...
You probably felt like, well, I've been on Gene's show twice. Maybe I ought to have him on.
The one guy that I'd love to bring the clips to Planet Rage on Mondays, he's the liberal douchebag David Pakman, who does I think it's just a YouTube show, but also does the call in, and the audio is usually better on those. So I'm wondering if that's more just like we'll have somebody on your staff record the question and put it through one of the filters, because right off the out of the box in Adobe Audition,
it doesn't sound like a phone.
There is right, and there is like a phone filter on Audition. Okay. So it's like, I think somebody just took somebody from the studio, then say something into a nice mic and then run it through the filter to make it sound like it's coming through a microphone or through a telephone. But sometimes people need that, if you're doing commercials.
Why do you watch this guy?
I bring clips to Planet Rage so we can talk about how stupid he is.
Oh.
It's part of the shtick.
Oh, you guys do clips on Planet Rage?
Yeah, we are very much like No Agenda, except instead of breaking down the mainstream media, we go further into even people with
alternative media.
Yes, people with much smaller audiences. And our goal is not to tell you how they're lying. It's just to usually tell you why they're idiots and why, and sometimes why they're lying. And it's more of a cathartic thing.
We can get back to Taylor Swift here, obviously, but since we're talking about this, you might as well read CSB's donation.
Wait, Comic Strip Blogger came in with the donation?
Yeah, didn't you see it?
Yes. I always do. Because every time he sends one, he's like, did you get it? Did you get it?
I know.
Did you get it? Did you get it?
He doesn't ask me that because he knows I actually get them.
He says, with 9,700 Satoshis, it's not quite Dale from Down Under who came in with with 15,497 pennies. That's like way more impressive.
Mm-hmm.
But CSB says, Privyet, comrades. Oh, that was so loud, I heard myself bounce back.
That was pretty loud. And that was, you know how you heard it bounce back?
No.
Out of my headphones and into the microphone. That's how loud that was. Don't do that.
Sorry if you're deaf now. See, this is the difference. In Clean Feed, that would have leveled that down as I got a little more excited.
Yeah.
Privyet, comrades, Gene and Darren. I want to recommend the podcast called Planet Rage, which can be found at www.planetrage.show. You don't need the WWWCSB. It is reminiscent of No Agenda. Oh, how true. But features half Slavic Darren O'Neill in place of purebred Slavic Dvorak and 98% Irish Larry instead of half Scottish Adam. Everything to CSB is all about the genealogy report. Larry, he says, has a...
Can I make a Hitler joke?
Go ahead, sure, if you like.
Man, Hitler would have loved CSB. He'd be out there sorting everybody in line.
CSB is going to be like, this is not good to clip to send to other shows. You are totally ruining this read.
Yeah. I'm not saying CSB was a Nazi. I'm just saying it would have been very handy for the Nazis to have.
He may want to edit this if he wants to use it. He says, Larry has such a deep voice that when he orders a coffee, the beans grind themselves out of respect. Yo, CSB.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, if you can hear Larry.
Mm-hmm.
He is the hero.
Well, that's the thing is that CSB brings up a very good point is when I listen to your show with Larry, when he's talking, all I hear is a coffee grinder.
Right. It's low. You're hearing a rumble.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds more like a adult pleasure aid, but coffee grinder's a little.
I wouldn't know, but I'll take your word for it.
You've never pleasured anybody. I get it.
Not part of my vocabulary, man.
But we're going on back to Dale's letter. But thank you, CSB. We appreciate the Satoshis.
Mm-hmm.
And Gene walked all over your read. So if you want to complain to anybody, it's Gene, not me. But Dale says, comrades. I mean, just like the CSB, everybody knows, comrades. This is it. Tay is a cultural influencer to the largest segment of fertile women.
Mm-hmm.
She is a high-value woman dating a lower-value man.
I'm not sure she's a high-value woman. I don't think I would call her that.
Well, where would you put her?
Well, remember, the value of men and women is calculated differently.
Oh, I agree.
If she was a man, I would say absolutely she's a high-value man. She has a high income. High-value woman is not a woman with a high income. A high-value woman is a woman that it has dinner ready for you every night and bakes bread.
Well,
and make sure the house is kept clean.
Yes,
and not
here's
by
the
speaking
thing.
Spanish.
Well, but she's got $1 billion, so the food will be there, but it'll be cooked by a highly paid chef.
Let me tell you, if a man wanted to be with somebody that has $1 million, he'd be gay.
$1 billion.
Yeah, $1 billion. He'd be gay. You know, and $1 billion is like not a big deal anymore.
$1 billion, that's nothing.
When you have 100 billionaires now, you don't have quite trillionaires, not officially anyway, but you got a lot of guys with 100 billion now.
Billy Bones says, quote, "This show is not sexist."
This show is absolutely not sexist. Right. We just call it like it is.
But Dale says,
so yeah, I would definitely now maybe she does love cooking and baking, and you know, I mean, you'd know, I wouldn't know, and doing things that would make her a highly valued woman. I've seen her house, and
which one? She's got like 8 of them now.
I've seen one of her houses in Nashville, and it looks nice. It's got a bunch of cats living there.
Did you break in? Lady. Are you one of these? Are you one of these folks?
Doesn't matter. It's past. This was a few years back. There's nothing illegal about that back a few years ago.
Nothing untoward. And when you don't get caught.
And I mean, she's got like it kind of looks like a grandma house. Honestly, she's got like photographs on the walls and doilies on tables and cats walking around everywhere. So maybe she does enjoy cooking and baking and cleaning, but I kind of doubt she has time for any of that stuff because she's working way too hard to make money that she doesn't really need.
Bringing in a lot of dough and then flying across the world to watch a football game. Then she flew right back. I mean, that was the big news, was she going to make it?
Hates the environment, hates the
Obviously.
Mother Earth.
Well, there's no doubt. And this is, I pointed this out. There are a lot of things that the left worships that she totally ignores, which I find to be kind of funny. But not only, I mean, the big thing was she had to fly from Japan to watch the Super Bowl. But right after the Super Bowl, I didn't hear anybody cover the story that
she flew back to Japan.
No, Australia was the next stop. She's out by Dale.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's why Dale wanted to hear about her, because he's at her show right now.
Yeah, he's probably hanging with her. Dale's probably way connected. He's like, if you
what do you think his unexpected flight was? He had to be on the plane to the U.S.
Yes,
just to watch the Super Bowl to fly back.
He's like, Taylor called me. I had to get out.
Hey, Dale, we got an extra seat. You want to come out for the Super Bowl?
There were some quotes from Kelsey's brother, who just, I guess, was in the NFL and just retired. So, I mean, anybody that plays in the NFL at any high level of sports in the United States is somewhat of a celebrity, has been paid very well. Once you're in the NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, you're on that 1%, no doubt about it. You're kind of a celebrity. And he talked about all of the celebrities that were just clamoring because he was up in the box with Taylor and the other wives and girlfriends.
Okay. Yeah.
And he's like, at one point, he's like, I'm standing with Miles Teller, the actor. We're watching the game.
Don't know who that is.
We're talking football. And he's like, I hear Taylor's voice from behind me say, hey, Jason, turn around. And he's like, I turn around and Paul McCartney's standing right in front of me. I'm like, that's just, it's a weird
huge
life.
Football fan, I'm sure.
Well, he was at the Super Bowl. I guess that's enough.
He wasn't at the Super Bowl. He was in Taylor Swift's box.
Yeah, well, for briefly.
Everybody wants to be in Taylor Swift's box.
Oh, now there's the ISO, man. You probably even need to make a mark right now. I don't want to forget and miss that one. But that's the level of celebrity going on. And then, of course, there was the story that Kanye spent big money in order to get a seat like right in front of that box.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And that she made a couple of phone calls and had him moved, which I think, if true.
She had him moved?
Yes.
Jesus. Well, he's a billionaire too, isn't he? Or used to be. He got divorced. Right. He used to be. Oh, man, that sucks for him.
He got divorced and he started saying stuff against the Jewish folks. And
the what?
The Jewish folks.
Which folks?
He went anti-Semitic. He went totally.
Say that again?
The Jewish folks. Anti-Semitic. Kanye went crazy and all of a sudden people went, oh. Yeah, your shoe deal's gone, buddy.
Yeah.
He was making a lot of money on that shoe deal.
I watched his interview with Tucker. And I think he came across extremely reasonable. I don't know what kind of drugs he was on before, but I think he's off of them.
He certainly has his moments.
Yeah.
And he's a very bright guy.
He's a very bright guy. I will absolutely agree with you on that. And he, I think, too late realized what a black hole leech situation he got himself into when he got married. And how that, in a lot of ways, fucked him over. Yeah, I think if he could just keep the crazy down a little bit, I think he could climb right back up and then be able to buy that box out from underneath the Tay-Tay.
Or he could be president.
No, that ain't gonna happen. We're not gonna have a black president. Come on.
But he's not really black, is he? He's more crazy than anything
blackish.
Else. Blackish, right? There's a TV show, which was good for a few years.
That was a great show. I enjoyed that show. That was fun because the dude character in that just did an outstanding job of being a wealthy suburbanite black dude who just had to be angry about the white man all the time.
Well, Ned was angry that his kids were acting more white than the white man.
Yeah, exactly.
Which
exactly.
was great.
And I really like Rashida. I've always thought she was fun to look at. So, she's technically black, but in any other respect, you'd be like, what? What do you mean black?
Yeah, it is
Rashida Jones.
Yes. Yeah, the wife.
Yeah. The wife. Yeah. Yeah. Because she's probably the most white looking black woman out there.
Well, the daughter was too. I don't remember her name, but she was very attractive. Then did her own spin-off, The College Years or whatever.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
It's like Grown-ish or something like that. They did another ish thing.
Okay. All right. But yeah, it was a fun show. I definitely watched it. It only had one season, right?
I think there were multiple seasons.
Were there? Really?
Yeah.
Maybe they were just short seasons. Maybe they were like these, 6-episode seasons or something.
And I think they started running out of steam after a little while, but it was a great concept.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it wasn't totally woke. That was the beauty of the show. It wasn't.
It wasn't. It was poking fun.
Which is exactly what you can't do now. That was mentioned on No Agenda yesterday, the Jon Stewart coming back to do some of the his late night show.
Yeah, what's up with that, man?
Well, the fact that he's still, he poked fun at Biden. People didn't like that. He poked fun at Trump. You can't do both ways anymore. That used to be the way. I agree with what No Agenda said. Back when he was on originally, it was acceptable. It was everybody learned from Johnny Carson, who I'm sure was a liberal guy, but man, he pounded both sides of the political aisle. And I think that's the way, if you really want to be a success, if you want to keep the whole audience, you can't go after just their guy.
Yeah.
You have to be able to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to see comedy in there. I mean, if you don't see comedy in the Joe Biden presidency, you are not good at your job.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm trying to remember what Adam's take was of John, because they worked together at MTV.
Well, I know Bill O'Reilly's take, which was Jon Stewart, good dude. They worked together.
Yeah, he liked them. Yeah,
they would have some great debates. They did a pay-per-view special together for charity, and O'Reilly tried to get him to do that again, which is how I knew this was about a year ago. So before the reboot of him on the Late Show. And he wanted to do another debate kind of a thing because politics is getting crazy, and Stewart wouldn't do it. And it has to be because you can no longer even be associated with somebody that has the opposite viewpoint, which is insane.
Yeah.
That, oh, no, O'Reilly, he's more of a traditional conservative, so I can't go and have a debate with. It's like, why? That's got to the point to where you're going to see this if somehow Joe Biden is the presidential nominee for the Democrat and Trump is the nominee for the Republicans. You're going to get from the Biden camp, well, I'm not even going to debate him. I am not going to give him that power. I am not even going to give him.
I'm not going to platform him, I think is the phrase they use.
Which is very, very interesting. It's like, what? You mean you can't, for somebody that's that bad, you can't make your case, huh?
Right.
You can't.
Yeah. I'm not going to debate somebody because I don't want them standing up on the platform making me look bad.
Right. I don't want to give them any credibility at all. It's interesting that's where we're going.
I think I think the debates are over. I don't think there will be any more presidential debates in the future ever. Well, maybe in like 10 years from now or something, because Democrats just opted out. Like Biden's not doing it. And then, of course, Trump wasn't going to do them if Biden wasn't going to do them. So Trump opted out. And for the remaining candidates that went, they got completely obliterated by the new kid on the block, by Vivek. And so I think that's it. I don't think we're ever going to see, well, at least not for a while, we're going to see those, because I think next year they're just going to say, we're just going to do polling and that'll determine who gets picked. We're not going to do debates.
Yeah, we'll put out our own. Maybe we'll do a town hall by ourselves. with a journalist, air quotes, that will be easy on us, then people are too stupid.
Yeah, we're just going to have people doing what Biden did and just having like lunch with random families.
And then talking to people that have been dead for 20 years.
Yeah, sure. Given that Vivek's young enough to be Biden's grandson.
Yeah.
He is.
Well, we need...
I just think it's so insane that we have 2 geriatrics running. I mean, this is octogenarians. It's like, this is nuts. These are not, look, I went to Trump's rally. I voted for him last time. I probably vote for him again, but I really wanted somebody other than him, like a Vivek in there, somebody that was quicker on his feet, that was more intelligent. I mean, let's be frank. Vivek is definitely smarter than Trump. He's not only got
more
great
eloquent.
education.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's what I was going to say is not only does he have better education, but he has better control of the English language.
Well, and Trump, though, might have more street smarts. I'm not sure yet with Vivek. He still has to be a little bit proven.
Although I don't know that you can grow any company to be $1 billion company without doing some shystering. So I think he's probably got some of that.
You would know.
Plus he's Indian. Come on. You've never bargained with an Indian at a shop before?
Wow. Now,
I'm just saying.
Would he bring the same fear, though, into people like Vladimir Putin?
Putin is not afraid of Trump. That's ridiculous.
And I will say, one of the funniest stories, because you brought up the way the Indian folks might like to bargain.
Mm-hmm.
The funniest story I ever heard from the guy that I've known for years and years and years and owns the carpet store that I worked for years and years was a Indian couple where the husband just kept asking, how much? And he gave him the price. He's like, well, what's my price? Well, no, this is your price. And he's like, after like 5 times of, but what's my price? He's just like, just go. That's the price. I can't do any better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, although if that works, I mean, you just keep asking for lower prices, I guess.
Well, that's the thing that a lot of tourists don't realize in that part of the world is that all the prices that are written on anything or first price you're told is like 4 times higher than what they're actually wanting to sell the thing for.
Right.
So you start out officially high, then you completely lowball them. Say, what, 4,000 rupees? Well, you're nuts. That's worth barely 200 rupees. And then you slowly work your way down to what the actual price would have been. I think the reason that America, and they're like, it's a cultural thing, and it is in the Middle East as well. It is in a lot of places in African countries. It absolutely is. But I think a lot less so in Europe and basically non-existent in the United States. So here, if somebody asks you what the price is and you tell them the price, that had better be the price.
Right.
Because if you tell them an artificially high price, they'll just walk away and you will have lost the sale completely. Like they're not going to even attempt to bargain you.
Yes. We have a lot of people now who are too afraid to even question, hey, would you do better? Can you come down 20%? Can you do?
Yeah.
They're very, very strange. They don't, because it is not a part of the culture, but this is why I've noticed it's easier at this point to get some better deals on eBay when it's the buy it now or best offer.
Oh, because you just lowball everybody?
Yeah, people don't want to make the best offer. I think they think it's rude to come in under that price, even though people are like, well, I'm just going to put it up high. That way I can decide if I want to take that amount.
Yeah.
And then nobody does. And it's like, oh, well, okay. I'll just, because they don't want any kind of conflict whatsoever. And it's hilarious when it comes to the American audience, it's fun watching Pawn Stars, which I know is very well chopped up and edited. And the ones that are in the shop anyway, you're not seeing the actual back and forth to figure out if they're going to sell it in a price that's a recreation. I don't know. They just did a couple of seasons where they go out to different places. I think they were in Austin. They were in a bunch of different cities. and they're out there for 3 days, and they get like a big, venue where people bring their stuff in. My favorite thing is it's like, okay, here I'm coming in with my, signed Sir Gene poncho.
Yeah.
And yes, this is very interesting. Oh, how much would you like for it? And I'm like, I would like $10,000.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, how'd you come up with that price? Well, I was looking on the internet, and Sir Gene's signatures are just very rare.
That's true.
And the guy in the, Rick's like, well, it's worth like $50. I'll give you $20. And they're like, okay. It's like, wait, you just went from I want $10,000.
10,000 to
to like $50.
I've never watched Pawn Stars, but the closest that I've come to watch is an even more pathetic version of the show, which was Kevin Smith's Comic Shop.
Oh, I love that show. It was so fun. I mean, it wasn't a real.
So ridiculous.
I know, but it was fun. It was not. I mean, you weren't going to watch it for the items.
No. It's like you take the most, nerdy, lowest social skill people out there, and then you add them being in New Jersey on top of it. And it's like, oh my God, Jesus Christ, these guys are insane.
Well, and they admit that it was all fake. They're doing. I mean, I don't know.
It's his real shop. What are you talking about?
The people, though, there is when I was on their Patreon for Tell 'em Steve Dave, which is two of the guys, Walt that was running the store and Brian Johnson. And also Tell 'em Steve Dave is the guy from Impractical Jokers, but their Patreon, they've been doing, and I jumped off it like maybe a year ago because it wasn't really worth it, but they were doing a video behind the scenes, episode by episode of that. So if you thought that show was great, you can now go back and watch them breaking down every episode and how all those early episodes, they were actors that they pay,
of course they were. I mean, that's because no one actually comes to that shop. It's a real shop, but like most comic book shops, the person working there has such a bad, sense of, how do you describe it? They're going to tell everybody that walks in what's wrong with them and why they shouldn't even be allowed to touch these comic books because they're not worthy. I mean, this is a typical comic shop owner attitude. And I've only been in a few of them, mind you, but it's consistent in my experience, anecdotally, that people that run comic shops have such a high opinion of the comics and such a low opinion of their customers that it is hilarious to watch.
Well, you're a Simpsons fan, right? I mean,
I used to be when I was like back when Matt Groening was involved.
Right. Well, the comic book guy, though, that's pretty much well, let me tell you. Yeah, you are not even giving me a good offer. It's a beautiful thing. But the guest stars were quite interesting that they had come through that show. And I think they had a decent audience because they were on right after The Walking Dead. So the people that were watching that show. Oh,
really? Okay. I mean, I've only watched it on the internet, but yeah.
That was the reason why I think it had a following when it was live. But they had people that came in. I mean, Nichelle Nichols came in.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, I'm looking for a...
I'm sure she's looking for something.
Well, she wanted one of the action figures of herself. That was the bit.
Yeah.
But then the whole
bit is right. Yeah.
The whole thing came down then. Brian Johnson's like, well, I'll pay for it if we could recreate that first interracial kiss on television. And I think she had a good time with that. I mean, it was...
Oh, why wouldn't she? She got paid for it.
And then Lindsay Wagner came in, the Bionic Woman.
Oh, yeah, because... Well, clearly we know what their budget is.
Yeah.
These are people that would come down for $500.
Yeah, then probably. But Lindsay Wagner, I mean, back in the day.
I mean, she was hot.
Walt was smitten even now. But I would say that would, if I had to go back and think, that was most likely my first, celebrity crush would have been the Bionic Woman, Lindsay Wagner. Yeah. I think that was right about.
I think mine was Aaron Gray.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was okay. Which was, because this was it. There was the trifecta when you think about it. There was the Bionic Woman, Lindsay Wagner. There was Aaron Gray and Buck Rogers. And then there was Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia.
Well, yeah. And Carrie was the youngest out of the bunch of them.
And it's like those, for our era, that was kind of it. And so much more wholesome it would seem than what's going on overall today in I
watched, television. I'm pretty sure you don't actually read any of my tweets, but I only really read what you post on the Fediverse now. I follow every one of those posts very closely. I bet you do. Yes, yeah.
Oh, Linda Carter too. Yeah. Yes, net. She's that was a force.
Linda Carter. I would not put her in the same S tier. I would put her in the A tier. I think she was certainly, attractive by the 80s standards and wore fairly skimpy outfits.
I was going to say the wardrobe helped.
However, she was older and her body was not in as good a shape.
I thought it was hilarious when she did the cameo on 2.5 Men after Ashton Kutcher, whatever his name is, took over. And it's like, oh, it's Linda. It's Barbara Eden, but that's a different, completely.
That's a little earlier.
Era.
But yeah, Barbara Eden was definitely a hottie.
But Linda Carter, no, I mean, she held up fairly well.
Yeah.
The show's not sexist or misogynistic at all.
Not at all. No, not racist either.
No, you have one black friend now. So, I mean, you've totally wiped that concept out.
Oh my God. Well, I have to verify that he's black. I'm not sure he's.
Oh, you also have to verify that he's your friend. That's
true too. He said he was available to be my black friend, but I don't know what that costs.
You're right. Probably a lot.
Probably a lot. Exactly.
Probably a lot.
Exactly. But no, I was going to say when I started off talking about Erin Gray is there was a show that was done by Felicia. What's her last name? Felicia something. That was like basically a YouTube only, although it wasn't on YouTube. I think it was on like one of the, like Yahoo or something, or maybe MSN or something. But it was basically a video show about a group of these kind of loser-ish friends, but not really so much even friends, but they became friends, but they would start off as video game players that like played together in a guild.
A clan, you might say.
A clan, you might say, exactly. And in the 5th season, I believe, of that show, and somebody's going to remember what Felicia's last name is, but I think there was the 5th season, they had Erin Gray come on as a regular, playing herself as the love interest of one of the guys who's our age.
Was it Felicia Rashad?
No, definitely not.
Hey, I mean, that's a Felicia, but it's like that.
It is a Felicia. No, it's Felicia. She's kind of a B actress. She's been in a bunch of stuff, but as a one episode kind of guest. She's kind of got kind of cute looking, not hot, but just kind of cute looking. But she's
Felicia Day.
Felicia Day, yeah, that's the one.
The show was called The Guild.
The Guild. There you go. Perfect. Yeah. So The Guild, I thought was very well done because it kind of captured the characters on that show represent a lot of reality that I've seen in the gamer community. God, I hate saying the word community.
Oh, even Will Wheaton for 16 episodes.
Oh yeah. Will Wheaton was the main antagonist. He was like the evil character. It was evil Will Wheaton. I think is much better than non-evil Will Wheaton. That was like he does so much a better job playing an asshole, which should tell you something, than he does playing a straight man.
Way more natural.
It's just amazing how well he can portray an asshole. And he did the same thing on what was that other show? With the
Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory. Yeah. He did a good job of playing himself on that one as well, where he also played an asshole. So Sheldon's nemesis. And I think Felicia Day was on one of the episodes of that show as well, if I remember right. They had so many guests to that show.
Yeah, they ran crazy. A long time.
Yeah, they managed to take all the memes and spin them together. But you know, it was a happy ending kind of thing where all the nerds both got married and got the Nobel Prize in physics. So, I mean, it's a twofer, right?
Yes.
What else in life could you possibly want beyond those two things as a nerd?
Aaron Gray even did an episode of BJ and the Bear.
Yeah. Well, she on Buck Rogers, I mean, there's nothing left to imagination. The outfits on that show were beyond skin tight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Even the robots were skin tight.
And that was 79 to 81. Mm-hmm. So that was right after Carrie Fisher. So Carrie Fisher came first.
Mm-hmm. Well, I thought the Bionic Woman came first in the late 70s.
Let's see. When was that? But I would just say that Aaron Gray, even Carrie Fisher was the wholesome. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then Aaron Gray was like the woo.
Although in real life, that's exact opposite.
Yeah, probably. But that's okay.
Carrie Fisher she was already doing drugs and partying like crazy when she was 16 and 17.
Yeah, the Bionic Woman, 76 to 78.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we hit that. We hit Star Wars in 77. And then in 1980 came Buck Rogers.
Wonder Woman.
Well, Wonder Woman right in there, too.
Yeah.
We don't have good TV like this anymore, man.
We don't. We don't have good TV at all.
You look at what you got, and it's like, it's nothing.
Yeah. But yeah, Aaron Gray definitely on that show was, but she's also my type. And that's the thing. It's like, I like him fairly skinny.
And you're watching Silver Spoons again. Like now
I definitely enjoyed Silver Spoons. Yeah. She's good on that too.
Like the show may suck, but.
Yeah. Well, and Silver Spoons was really the start of one of my favorite actors' acting career.
Oh man. You like, what's his name from?
Yeah. Exactly.
Daryl, why can't
it's not Daryl.
He played that in the show though. Daryl.
Arrested Development.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. God, what is his name?
He had a sister.
He and his sister was fucking hot back in the day. And she was on that show where she was with Michael J. Fox.
Right. She was the sister Mallory.
She was the liberal one. He was the conservative one. And their parents were total hippies. I can't remember the name of that show either. God damn. But
yeah, we're getting old.
Yeah, we're getting old, man. What kind of memory's gone completely.
All the useful stuff is somewhere in there, but the useless stuff gone.
Well, I wouldn't mind that so much. It's mostly the useful stuff that's gone. The useless stuff still is rattling around quite a bit.
Well, yeah, Family Ties. Thank you, No Beret.
Family Ties. Yes, that's right.
And what was the kid's name? Jason Bateman. There we go. Why?
Bateman. Yeah. And
then the sister was something
Bateman.
Hey, we bring you the highest quality content ever.
And incidentally, one of the funnest episodes for people our age of Arrested Development was when his sister was the guest on the show.
Justine Bateman, right?
Justine.
Another
That's
J.
A hot, sexy name.
You're like, hey there, Justine.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so she played Jason Bateman's love interest on that show.
That had to be a little weird, right?
They really ranked up the whole incest thing. It was hilarious. Because obviously she wasn't like his sister in the show, but.
Oh, dude, I totally forgot that Jason Bateman started on Little House on the Prairie, 21 episodes.
He did. Yeah. He was like the little kid. Yeah.
Yeah. Our brains are rotten from too much TV. Did you?
I know that's thousands and thousands of hours of television just polluting our minds. You know, other people read books.
Nobody wanted to do that, man.
Oh, yeah. Now you were either outside or watching the TV. That's the two activities. Drinking water from a garden hose, mostly.
Yeah. Not worried about any of the chemicals that might be in there.
Doesn't matter. Because you know what we had? An immune system.
Yeah, and it worked. Most of us didn't die.
Nope. Most of us didn't die. The ones that did died in weird ways.
But going back to Dale's letter, the Taylor Swift, he says, in effect, it's a college educated professional as Taylor Swift, even though I don't think she is, but dating a working class man, directly refuting a key pillar of the manosphere, the graduation homecoming vibe of the Super Bowl, and the increased female demo showing her influence. What effect on the largest remaining strata of fertile women would it have if Tay-Tay found herself with child in the next couple of years? Ooh.
Yeah, she's a lesbian. That ain't gonna happen.
I mean, lesbians get children too. Ask Melissa Etheridge.
Do I have to?
No, you don't. You don't have to. I mean, really, and Melissa Etheridge and her wife, really, if you're looking for some good quality seed.
She's part of the Dixie Chicks, right?
No. Do you go to David Crosby for I mean, come on. I mean, there's a lot.
I know, but they're kind of in the same political vein.
I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's a little bit different, but
there's enough conservative country out there to not have to listen to liberal country.
True. You sent me an interesting video, even though it was somewhat idiotic. Who is the male equivalent of Taylor Swift?
Yes.
And this is why I don't normally watch the videos you send, because I'm like, is this it? is there a payoff somewhere in here? Is it going to be funny?
I thought it was funny.
The answer is there is no equivalent, damn it.
Uh-huh.
I think it was
there is
coming up with guys that were not real.
No, Peter Griffith is the equivalent of Taylor Swift.
From Family Guy, just that big, popular.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it. Even
that
though
universal.
It's in a different, little bit of a different age range. Donald Trump is, I think, the closest to the male Taylor Swift. If you're looking at somebody that people seem to adore, would fight, throw down for.
No, definitely disagree with that. I think way more women are into Trump than men. If you go to these Trump events,
I think way more women are into Taylor Swift than men too.
Exactly. That's my point. So it's what you've got with both Trump and Taylor Swift are personalities that attract women. And then grab them by the pussy.
Right. Well, that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
There's fine
I think
people
Taylor
on
said
both
that
sides.
once.
Yeah. They're fine people on both sides, she said.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And in her case, she even grabs men by the pussy too.
Yeah. Especially that Travis Kelce guy.
Whoever he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I saw a video of him walking around in some kind of a super gay outfit.
I know, with the sunglasses. Oh, God.
Uh-huh.
It's like,
so she's basically treating him like a Ken doll.
Isn't that what most people with that kind of money do, though, in relationships?
Uh-huh. Yeah, because she's the one with the money. So she's like, I'm going to get to dress you up.
And
boy, did she ever dress him up.
Like, okay, move on to the next one. There is a brand new version of the album that's not even out yet. Limited edition that has a additional song called
Do you need me to put another fake order in for you?
The Bolter. No, I thought about it, but I have four copies of the vinyl will be enough.
Yeah.
Although I will probably regret that because these albums that they don't continue to make go up in value. I mean, they don't have to be autographed. It'll probably be worth $150 to $200 within a year. So, I mean, if anybody's looking at, if it's better than sports cards, it's better than Bitcoin, you can make yourself some money. But the bonus
Bitcoin's at 52.
I know. I'm like, okay, it might be time to dump the stuff out and
holy shit, was I wrong?
And wait for it to go down and then pick up some more.
Yeah, I might have to stop buying soon. Because I predicted it was going to be back down at like 30 by Christmas.
I know. It's not. It looks like it is. Although the economy, they're all tied together. You'll see something happen. But the bonus song on this new album is called The Bolter. So it's like, is that just predicting that this guy's going to leave? Then it'll be the bolter. And then she'll find somebody else.
Well, he'll probably be killed by her fans if he leaves.
Well, that is the other thing too. Do you really want to be a part of that? It is a weird cultish type thing.
Oh, it is a cult. Period. Absolutely.
And
no, she's got rabid fans.
She's also in that range now at 34 years old, the childbearing age for people who don't follow along. It's coming to the door is going to start shutting.
Yeah, menopause. Chance of getting menopause starting shoots up dramatically at 35. People think, oh, that's 50. No. It's virtually unheard of before 35, but after 35, a lot of women get menopause in their 30s. Even more get it in their 40s, obviously, but almost all of them get it before 50. So I don't know, this idea of like, oh yeah, you could wait till you're 40 to have a kid is ridiculous. No, that's just not the case.
Well, and the chance of them being 100% healthy start going down, right?
Yeah, you could do in vitro with, when they suck out the eggs, get them all fertilized, and the implant like 8 eggs at the same time, and then you can become an octomama.
Hey, she's got the cash.
Yeah, you got the cash, but I would think she'd want to use somebody else's body for that as well.
You never know. This could be, she has ramped things up to such a point, made so much money that I could see her
retire and bake.
Right. Well, it's
start cleaning the house.
Well, you know who else did this was Garth Brooks. Garth ramped up.
Yeah.
And then decided, you know what? I'm going to go spend like 10 years raising my kids, and then wound up coming back. But he did it. He was like, I'm just not going to tour, not going to do anything. And it's easy enough to release music now. If you're not touring, who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
So I could see that being like, you know what? Okay, this is it. Just did the big tour, made tons of money on the tour, and be like, not going to tour again for at least 10 years.
Who didn't do that is Willie Nelson.
No, that dude, well, because he had the life that everybody either wants or doesn't want, and spent all the money and gone through all the women and smoked all the drugs and then needed more money and then got another divorce.
Had all the friends.
Had all the friends up until the point that he needed the money, and then the friends disappeared. But Willie's still going.
Yeah.
Still out there singing his songs.
It just proves the fact that smoking pot is not nearly as bad for you as drinking alcohol. Because all his buddies that were drinking alcohol are long dead.
If you have to choose between the two, yes, I think it's a healthier way to go. Although you never know. It depends on your lungs, I would guess. Willie obviously had really good lungs.
Well, he was a singer, so that tells you something. It's really weird. I watched a video of him. It was a video of Willie over the years, and it started off with him as a baby, and then, him as a teenager, and then early 20s. Willie looked like such a wholesome man in his early 20s, with the clean cut haircut and shave, and, wearing the nice, clean country music clothes. And I was like, holy shit, that was so vastly different from what he started doing in the 70s.
You would look at the pictures of him then and not believe it was the same guy now. And it was because he got tired of the music business.
But not just now. Like, you wouldn't believe it's the same guy that was around in the 80s. Because his look from the 60s to the 80s was drastically changed.
Yes, but the interesting thing is...
the music he played.
If you look at a picture of Willie Nelson from around 1980 and then look at him today, he really hasn't changed.
No, he hasn't changed since the 80s. That's true.
It's like he looked really old when he was like 40 years old, and he just cruised right on through into 90.
Still looks old in his 90s. Yeah, exactly. It's amazing how that works.
I saw Willie a few times live. Puts on a damn good show. At least he did.
I've never seen Willie play live. I've seen Willie in person, but I've never seen him play live.
The guy could pick that guitar. At least, again, I'm going back a few years. I haven't seen him over the last decade or so, but he was part of the Highwaymen, which toured and had to see that. Went with my parents.
And I think that's my favorite iteration of that genre. You know, the when you get all the guys that had good solo careers together,
yes,
it just makes for so much more dense in a concert.
Well, they were, the Taylor Swift of their day when it came to, country music.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, Johnny Cash, and Chris Christopherson all.
Yeah, it doesn't get any better than that.
Making a record. Well, they made a couple of records and touring together. It's like that just shows they were good buddies, because otherwise the egos, you can't, they can't be there with.
There was a documentary about them on, I think PBS did one back when they were touring. And they definitely had plenty of damn near walking out and not coming back moments. And a lot of them had to do with conflicts between Waylon and Chris Christopherson.
A lot of differences of how to live the life.
Yeah, a lot of differences of politics, a lot of differences of drug use, a lot of differences in general, and like who gets top billing. And because I think Waylon was kind of always living late to the party. Like he never really broke out and started making money until later in life, even though he was a great musician. He just, it didn't happen for him. And so I think he kind of carried a bit of a chip on his shoulder for the rest of his life.
Yeah, and he deserves credit from everybody that is a musician today, because he was the guy that changed the way everything worked when it came to record deals and what you got and how much money you were paid. He was the guy that kind of kicked down those doors and went, nope, not going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a, his voice was so good too. I mean, it wasn't as characteristic as Johnny Cash's voice,
right,
or as unique, but it was such a good voice.
Well, and it was very unique. When you hear Waylon, you know it's Waylon.
Yeah. Yeah, you do know it's Waylon, but I still think Johnny Cash's voice is more unique.
Oh, and Johnny Cash, when he got to the end of his life, his voice was even more expressive. Those final albums were just heartbreaking.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it's so dark. It's very, very dark.
Waylon always had a little bit of that humor to him.
Yeah.
I remember getting in trouble in grammar school, and we had to like do a thing with, poetry or something. And I had seen the Waylon album. I think it was just called Oh Waylon. And there's a bunch of graffiti on the walls on this album cover. And one of the things said, "Moon is high and so am I." And I put that down, and the teachers didn't quite understand where that was coming from. Like, no, I'm tall. You see, that's
yeah, that's what you meant.
It's what I meant.
Speaking of comedy, another guy that I really loved from back then was Buck Owens.
Oh, the Buckaroos, baby.
Yeah, Buck Owens.
The Bakersville
sound. Of course, Roy Clark with when they were in Hee Haw.
Oh my God, I saw Roy Clark once at a little theater here. And
oh wow, I've never seen him live. That would have been fun.
This was back in, again, with my parents, probably late 70s, early 80s, and that guy could play.
He was insane. I think I've seen a lot of his videos, including some of the earliest stuff back when he was in his early 20s. His ability to do super intricate finger work on both the banjo and the guitar are just legendary. I mean, it was like, and he'd be cracking jokes while he's playing that shit. It's like, God damn, man, how much of your brain is this taking up? Because you got plenty of free for other things.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing like on the banjo what Eddie Van Halen would do on the guitar, and he's doing a shtick while he's at it,
Exactly. Yeah. He would totally do stuff like that. His parodies of other musicians were like right on the money. Like you could totally see when he's doing a parody of somebody else, you could see the archetypes or traits of that particular musician. Very, very fun, very talented dude. And he actually, I think he was on the Hee Haw ran for a long time, so he must have made some good money on that show.
You would think he was a part of the people putting that show on, right? I don't think he was just.
I think Buck Owens was the original guy and then Roy joined them in the second season. And then like for the next 20 seasons, he was there.
It's a decent paycheck if you can get it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was back in the day when people tended to get residuals for rebroadcasts. Unlike these days when you get paid once.
Well, and then you look at the musicians again today. Most of them play a MacBook Pro. That's their.
That's true.
Their instrument. It's getting harder to find people that are instrument virtuosos because you don't have to put the work in. I can come up with the music and type it into a thing on a computer, and I can just hear it be played. I don't have to play it.
That's very true. Yeah, yeah. There's obviously plenty of musicians right now, but there's definitely I don't want to say a low bar for talent, but it's lower than it used to be. That's for sure.
Which may be why so many people flocked to Taylor Swift, because she could actually strum a guitar and write her own songs.
Not according to John and Adam back in the day.
Yeah, they're a little bit more cynical. But I was listening to country music when she broke, and the most interesting thing was it was the anti Britney and Christina, because when they both broke, it was like their look was the main thing.
Yeah.
When you look at Taylor Swift at 18, you wouldn't even be like, she's a plain girl. I mean,
yeah, still is. Yeah.
Now, obviously has improved with age, which very few artists have. Reba's one of those. Reba's another one you look at earlier and you're like, And then Reba somehow got hotter as she got older, which I don't know. Maybe it's makeup. Maybe it's attitude.
Yeah, maybe it's you.
It could be me too.
Yeah.
I'll leave that to a possibility. But she broke out in country and was able to write her own songs, which a lot of people don't realize. Country music.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like today because I have not followed it for the last 10 years or so. But it was at that point, artists overall did not write their own songs.
Right.
There was a whole industry in Nashville, and there probably still is, that do nothing but write songs, that songwriters come in, and it's scheduled, which is very weird. Everybody thinks like, oh, music is so much the people getting in touch with their emotions, and they just have to sit down and write a song. No, in Nashville, it's like, okay, today between noon and 2, I'm writing with this guy. Maybe, but
it's a bit business. Hey, it's unfortunately you don't actually look at my tweets at all, but
you do tweets. You slash the X?
I do X's. Yeah.
Hey, I tried to get people to go and follow Sir Gene TX.
Oh yeah.
X.
I got it. Thanks for the reminder. I need more people so I can turn on more features on my account. People.
Gene is having a problem turning people on.
I have a serious problem turning people on, and even things in my account. And so consequently, I need like 100 more people to follow me, and then they can unfollow me after that. I don't care. But I need like 100 more people to be able to fully flip on all the switches on X, because you need a minimum number of people. And so any help in that regard will be greatly appreciated.
Please follow Sir Gene TX.
But what I started saying is there's a gal that I really like named Allison Young. And I've been posting quite a bit of her country music on there on X as under the music hashtag. For those of you that used to follow me back on No Agenda Socials, you may recall that occasionally I would do streams of music posts.
Usually in the middle of the night when you couldn't
usually
sleep.
In the middle of the night. Yeah. It's usually what it was. It was like, if I can't fall asleep, I'm just going to be basically DJing a bunch of music that most people have never heard of. I've always enjoyed having a very eclectic musical collection. And now that pretty much everything I own in music is also on YouTube, it makes it very easy to legally do a stream where I'm playing music that I enjoy without any kind of piracy, because all I'm doing is just posting links to YouTube videos. But she is one of the people that I post links on there, and she is very much a traditional country music artist sounding musician.
What they would probably call like alt country now, if it's not the.
I don't know what they would call it, but it's basically 1950s country music.
Like the way what the Austin sound was maybe 10 years ago, maybe still is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just adore Kelly Willis. She's out in Austin, has been for years. And just a very unique country voice.
Mm-hmm.
And her husband writes some good songs too, Bruce Robison. Unfortunately, brother Charlie passed away. Man, I loved seeing Charlie in concert. He was a fun dude.
Charlie
Robison.
I don't think I've ever heard of him play.
He was on, somehow got to be a judge on that Nashville Star, when they were trying to recreate the rock and roll, America Sings, whatever those shows are called. They did a show called Nashville Star, and he was one of the judges, although he was married to a Dixie chick at one point. But he was very much, party, country, cowboy from Bandera, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, he passed away. People die. It's not fun. Get the good music while you can.
It happens. Some people die in airplane crashes.
Right. Buddy Holly. Waylon was like, nope, don't want to fly.
Yeah. It's a smart move.
It was the best decision he ever made.
Uh-huh.
I'll have to check her out. Allison Young. Allison.
I pasted a bunch of links for you in Signal. So you don't even have to look stuff up.
We got multiple lines of communication open while we do this show. People don't think we prepare, and we don't.
And we don't. Exactly. But but I'm even doing this. We're doing the show on the Mac, and I'm putting these links on the PC down for you. So I'm not even using the same computer.
That is crazy.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, it's wild. It's having the microphone on a boom arm that goes to the Mac, and then that boom arm can actually be right in front of me, right next to the keyboard on the PC. Is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming if I ever got a Mac Studio or one of the Mac Minis, like the higher end, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I would actually get rid of the Windows machine because the Mac Mini is so small.
Yeah.
You just get the thing that you can switch between the two and go, oh, okay.
Yeah, you could do the KVM thing. I just bought another monitor because monitors are so cheap.
I need more room
I'm actually
for more
bathed. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 monitors surrounding me.
Damn.
2 on the left, 3 in the front of me, and then 1 on the right of me.
I need a picture of that.
I could send you a picture. It just can't be posted anywhere because the other part of that is that
you can see Moscow right out the window.
Yeah, maybe. No, it's that I tend to have I use a piles storage system mentality. And so I have a little pile of headphones. I have a little pile of microphones. I have a little pile of mice. I have another pile of cables that connect to a variety of things. And all these things are just randomly on the tables around me.
In case something breaks.
It looks a wee bit messy.
Yeah.
No, if it breaks, I can't find anything. I mean, that's the problem. So,
I know I have 15 mice sitting around here somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
But I would like to continue with Dale's letter. Otherwise, we are literally
God. We're literally just doing Dale's letter the whole episode.
This is it. This is all about Dale today.
Wow.
He says, I think the Tucker Putin interview is a narrative pivot. Enemies to frenemies with Russia. Our clean energy future relies on Russian resources. It's in all the Western policy papers. Russia's best hedge against China is America. Their best hedge against China is India. Although 50 years away at least, India is moving with a purpose. India values sovereignty above all in foreign policy, recently launching a Hindu nationalist movement. This, like China's anti-sissy boy drive, Russia's recent move against international LGBT is protection against America's latest cultural weapon, intersectional politics / wokeness. You can follow it all back to the Cultural Congress OSS CIA setup in post-war Europe, which I think that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing people may or may not know, I've said it before, but doesn't mean people listen, is historically, China has not been Russia's friend. The countries have a border, and any countries that have a border tended to have border disputes, certainly back in the day. And so when China became communist, there was a certain amount of camaraderie that was there, but it was short lasting because Russia always, or Russian people really always had an attitude towards China of you can only trust them as far as you can throw them. And during the communist days, there was a lot of shared technology, a lot of shared advancements that basically came out of Russia and into China, and then were copied and sold by China to everybody else for cheap. So in a lot of ways, that soured the relationship between Russia and China is when China started basically just stealing Russian tech and then selling it to everybody. It's funny how China does that, right? Because after the relationship with Russia soured, and this would have been around the 1950s or so, China started making more preludes to the West. And after Nixon's visit, China started kind of doing the same thing with the US, where they're like, they were always, or I shouldn't say always, but they became Russia's frenemy. They were friends in the sense that they shared a political system, but they were kind of enemies for everything else. And I think China has become America's frenemy. They're friends in the sense that they literally manufacture everything that America consumes,
right,
or parts thereof, because everything that's labeled made in the US is still made of parts made in China. That's just reality. It's
right.
virtually impossible to find something that is made of raw materials from the US that are converted to actual parts and then assembled in the US. Like, you can probably count the number of products that fit that description on one hand.
Yeah.
Most things are made of either completely in China or made of parts manufactured in China, but assembled in the US, or made of raw materials coming from China, but then actually manufactured in the US. And an example of that is like the wallet that I was part of that my buddy makes, which is a solid piece of titanium. But there is no titanium in the US.
Right.
Titanium has to come from either Russia or China, and it's illegal to import it from Russia now. So your only option for titanium is China. So even things that say made in the US really are made of things coming from China.
Yes, parts sourced from, and I think Dale's point is quite valid from what I remember reading in all of these minerals and materials that Russia has in abundance are what's going into all of these things, like the batteries for all these electric vehicles. So if you have to rely on, I mean, if Russia's sitting there now like, okay, we are the country that has the highest capacity to produce what the rest of the world needs, it becomes very foolish to think you can do sanctions and take them out of the world stage if it's a country that you need in order to do this kind of stuff.
Well, and I'd mentioned the fact that the U.S. still buys uranium for its nuclear power plants from Russia. That's excluded from the sanctions, amazingly.
We got to get our uranium, man.
Yeah, because it's like, well, where are you going to get it? And then instantly I got people think, oh, you're full of shit. We buy all our uranium from Canada. It's like,
where do you think they get it?
No, we don't. Canada actually has some of the biggest uranium mines. But Canadian uranium, costs more. But also, China owns the rights to mine uranium in Canada. So
nice.
If you think you're getting Canadian uranium, you are, but that Canadian uranium is being sold to you by the Chinese Communist Party because they bought the rights to mine.
The Canadian uranium is the tastiest, though. I mean, really. It's the highest quality you're going to get.
It's damn good yellow cake. I'll tell you that much.
People don't understand.
That was a physics joke. Did anybody get that?
Nobody got that. Not. They don't understand the complexities of the world. They think it's all black and white, and it's not most of the time. What's going on in Russia and Ukraine, what's going on in
And I
Israel.
think Australia has uranium too, if I remember right.
Hey, Dale, send us some uranium.
Send some uranium, Dale. Yeah.
That won't get you into any trouble whatsoever.
No, not at all. Just put samples on the outside of the package and you're good to go. That just instantly clears customs here.
He says the takeaway I got from the Putin interview, the business of America needs to return to business, not fucking the rest of the world's business.
That's a good point. I mean, who could argue with that?
If you force us, we will cut you off. Yeah, I mean, I understand the people are like, oh, you want to be an isolationist. It's like, okay, I understand what happens in the rest of the world affects the United States. But I also understand that the billions of dollars you're sending in order to do something in Ukraine that most likely is not going to have a lasting impact is just throwing money away.
It is. Well, and the amount of negative press that Trump got for saying something which seemed very obvious to me, which is if you're a European country who is not paying into the NATO general fund, you will get no protection from the United States. And if Russia wants to invade you, they're going to invade you. And, when Trump said that, like all the liberal press just went absolutely crazy, especially in Europe, because they're like, well, you can't do that. No, it's we have a pact. We have legal treaties with each other. Yeah. And guess what? You also have a legal obligation to pay for this shit, which most European countries have not been paying in the amounts that they're supposed to, because it's based on your GDP. They haven't been paying in for 40 years.
Right.
It's basically just been coming out of America's budgets.
This is an insurance policy, and
I don't think there's a European country that has as much debt as the United States.
Right, but we want to keep racking our debt up to pay for their stuff.
That's literally what's happening. Is Europe's getting a free ride.
It's like, well,
somebody once said, "Fuck the EU." Who was that?
A lot of people, but
Victoria Nuland, maybe.
I think it was. Yeah, the clip that they play a lot on No Agenda, I believe, was her.
They like that clip.
But it's an insurance policy. If you stop paying for your house insurance today and your house burns down, the insurance company will still pay, right? Nope. Nope. Yep. You don't have car insurance and you run your car into a lake, the insurance company will pay for your new car, right? Nope.
Yeah. And I think that for some of these countries, the deal was, well, we're going to allow the U.S. to come in and place nukes on our territory like Poland, but we're, don't expect us to actually give any money to the U.S. for this. And so I think that there was a difference of what does NATO mean? Because I think for a lot of these NATO European countries, NATO was basically them just providing a location for U.S. troops and for U.S. equipment and nukes. It wasn't so much we're going to be partners in a joint military partnership. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, if Trump gets elected, which I still don't think he's going to be, but if he does, then Europe's going to have a very cold winter because they've already had fairly cold winters and crashed economies due to supporting the wrong country with the whole Ukraine situation. And if the U.S. now expects them to provide, well, I think it's 2 or 3% of their GDP for NATO payments, and they don't do that, they're going to be fucked.
I do think it's funny that Vladimir Putin was just quoted over the last couple of days saying he would prefer Joe Biden remain president over Donald Trump. I think that's hilarious.
Well, it's true because I mean, you think about it. He said he definitely has a better relationship with Trump,
right?
But he would prefer that Biden remain president,
right?
That means nothing happens in the world. Yeah,
The mainstream media is eating this up, even though they all wanted to believe Russian collusion, yet they're now carrying the message.
Are they literally thinking that he thinks he's such a great president and therefore he wants him to remain? Is that what the media thinks?
Probably. I don't get it. Because Putin's a really bad guy. But then when he says something like that, they want to use that like it should keep Joe Biden in power rather than the headline should be, oh, we're fucked. We better get rid of Biden because Putin wants to keep him.
Yeah, the headline should be America's enemy wants a already deceased man to remain president.
Well, just Joe's brain's dead. He's still technically alive.
Hey, I just got a pop-up window on my PC saying window device will restart outside of normal operating active hours. And, it doesn't matter because we're doing the show on the Mac.
Oh, it's like magic. You can reboot.
Right?
Like, nothing
I could
happens.
just hit, okay, I don't care. You want to reboot? Reboot. Doesn't affect anything.
You got to reboots it.
Yeah.
Dale concludes with, is Trump conducting a massive onshoring operation to benefit the American economy / people, or is he selling / disguising a tactical retreat from your last position of strength? Either way, he's containment, not a sacrificial lamb. Stay unrelenting. I mean, that's a hell of a letter, Dale.
It's a long-ass letter, Dale. Yeah, I mean, I can see why he sent in more money.
I mean, to be fair, it took 90 minutes. If I would have just read the letter, I could have probably done it in 35 seconds, but
30. I don't know, man. It's like an hour and a half long donation read in this show.
That's what we have here. Unrelenting. It's different than any other podcast that you listen to. And if you want to help support the show, you go to unrelenting.show. The information
and send us $100. Yes.
Yeah, at least is there.
Yeah.
Fiat fund coupons, not Satoshis. Although if you want to send it in Satoshis, that would be about 200,000 Satoshis.
Something like that. Yeah.
It's going up. They're going up. They're going up. Though right now, if you have a bunch of Satoshis sitting around, if you're like, well, I just had some Bitcoin,
we'll take them.
And it may be time to, because I can just dump what I have in Bitcoin. And I don't believe I ever purchased Bitcoin. I mean, I've never put money into it. CSB sent some Bitcoin when he wanted me to send it to like Bandrew. He sent me Bitcoin when I did him a favor to digitize a book.
You're definitely going to get investigated because you keep receiving money from these offshore accounts.
It's not money. It's Bitcoin. It's not real. It's not even funds. It's gold.
Oh, believe me, magic. The IRS considers it pretty damn real.
So it's like I can turn that in. I mean, I can afford a fairly decent computer with what's in the Bitcoin fund right now.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
you got some Bitcoin sitting there.
Yeah, and it could disappear.
And you can get a pretty decent computer on Amazon, and you could get Amazon gift cards from Bitcoin.
The Bitcoin, you can also do Apple gift cards.
Oh, okay. So those are universal. Nice.
Which is a beautiful thing. And I did find, we'll have to find the link. I can put it in the show notes. There was another, because the one website that I used was Coin Cards or something like that. But I found a new one. Also very legit, been around for quite a while, and I did get because Amazon disappeared. I don't know if it's on Coin Cards anymore or not, but it disappeared. So I found another place that did it, that took Lightning. It didn't even ask for an email address. So I was able to, with Lightning, pay for an Amazon gift card. It just showed you the code after you paid, so you didn't have to have an account. You just got
probably a stolen code.
I don't know, maybe, but it worked. It worked. It was fine. It was all good.
That's good.
But if you can turn that's always my theory. And this is not legal advice. This is not tax advice. No. Always pay your taxes. I do.
Yeah.
But if you can turn your Lightning directly into a gift card, does a tree make a sound if it falls in the forest and nobody hears it?
Well, and if you could do that without an email address and stuff.
Then it's just a gift card. And how do you know where the gift card came from? It's a gift.
It's a gift. That's true.
You can get gifts up to $600.
There's a maximum. Yeah, there's a maximum limit on IRS for gifts. I don't know what that limit is, but I know there is a limit.
It used to be $600 per year per person or something. That may have gone up or down with the new. Now there's a lot of people are going to be getting.
It wouldn't have gone down. It would have been going up if anything.
No, well, not the amount that you can have would go down. If they were like, well, you could get 600 without paying taxes, that could have gone down now to like 500, 200.
I don't know. No. I don't think it would have gone up. Direction. It would have gone up if anything.
The government's being more lenient and generous. You can get
the money's
bigger
worth
gift.
less now.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Weimar
That's the
Republic.
thing you gotta remember is the closest thing that we have to a non-inflationary monetary unit is gold. It's not Bitcoin. Bitcoin is gambling, but gold is fairly well established, and so if you really want to see what different currencies around the world are doing, then you should be comparing them to the price of gold.
Right.
And in the first time I remember I bought gold, it was 400 an ounce.
Damn, it's
right
like
now
18,
it's around 2,000 an ounce.
Up to 2, wow.
And now it's not like it's taken many years to get to that point, but
it's not a quick rise like Bitcoin.
You don't want to think of it as gold getting more expensive. You want to think of it as gold's price has stayed static. It's the same all the time.
The currency.
Difference is that the devaluation of the US dollar and every other currency, incidentally, not just the US dollar, currencies have to be devaluated because otherwise governments don't have any money to spend. It's very dangerous to have a currency that's actually becoming more expensive. If you have deflation, that is a much more critical problem for the government than if you have inflation. High inflation is also bad, but your normal state is really to constantly slowly be inflating the value of the currency, or devaluing the value of the currency, I should say. So experiencing inflation.
Makes sense. What we need is a Swift coin. We need somebody
exists
to mint.
I'd be shocked if it doesn't exist.
Right now, gold is at 2022. That's nice. You always got the new arrivals. I like JM Bullion. Every now and then, I just look to see what they've got. And some of the coins.
Biggest problem with gold is just the weight of it. The density of gold is so high that it's too concentrated. Like, 1 ounce of gold is a very small piece of gold because of the high density. And that 1 ounce is worth $2,000. So it's not a useful thing in terms of, unless you're buying a car or something or a house, gold is not a useful physical means of storing that value. But it's certainly a way to protect yourself from inflation. This episode brought to you by the Gold Brokers. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can get
I wish we were sponsored by somebody.
Yeah, we're
not.
And JM, they've got some Australian kangaroo coins, 1 ounce, $2,099, so just a little bit over spot.
Kangaroo coins?
Yeah, there's just a kangaroo on it, yeah. There's also My Little Pony Firefly coins. You can get some.
Please tell me you're lying.
No.
You're making this shit up.
No, it's a one from Samoa. You can get a 1/200th of an ounce for 2024 for $74.80. But that's what I'm looking at, all this gold. I mean, if you're going to have gold, No Beret points out that a Swift coin would be awesome. Very easy to store, very flat. So,
wow.
Yeah, you can get a Shohei Ohtani. I'm sure I butchered his name, the Dodger guy. Now he just left the Dodgers, right? He went somewhere else. Or was he with the Angels and he went to the Dodgers? You can get people on coins, all sorts of crazy stuff. It's interesting what's out there that people will make, because it's gold. It's of course going to be a collectible, right? We should have Sir Gene coin. We should have Unrelenting coin. We just need somebody that can print this. You come up with a design. They take the gold. They take the silver. You just slam it into a coin, whatever you want. It's probably better for you than having Bitcoin. I mean, right? What would you right now? If you could convert your Bitcoin into gold, that's a good idea. You still think Bitcoin's better?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I think Bitcoin is here's the thing. I think this is where I'm probably different from a lot of people that are into Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is going to be a great storage of value and possibly a way to hedge even way beyond inflation and actually make money with it. If the current, basically, if the people that are running the world right now keep running the world,
right?
I don't know a better way to phrase it. If shit hits the fan in any sense, if there's war in Taiwan that the U.S. gets involved in, if there's war in Iran that the U.S. gets involved in, these will have a temporary spike on Bitcoin followed by a drop in Bitcoin. And I'll tell you why, is that Bitcoin is only accessible and universally tradable when there's a good infrastructure in place. And the minute that an EMP goes off,
right,
Bitcoin is done.
Yeah, your electric grid goes down. You know what else happens? Bitcoin goes away.
Yeah, because communicate, and not like, even you can have the Bitcoin numbers on your SSD device that's protected in an EMP bag. That's fine. You're gonna have nobody to trade it with because it requires electricity to trade. So Bitcoin is one of those things that, if we don't have any major end of civilization events, I think it's going to continue to go up. And that's why I think it's probably not a bad idea to do what I've been doing, which is just buying, $100 of Bitcoin every month and just not worry about it. It's $100 that you're not going to really miss, or whatever that amount for you. Maybe for some people it's $1,000. For other people it's like $25 a month. But whatever it is, you just do it every month automatically. It's kind of like a savings account that you don't touch. And if things don't go to shit, then you'll have a nice little nest egg. If things go to shit, you will lose all of that, or it'll be inaccessible at least. And it should be not the majority of your savings, and therefore you shouldn't be too sad if you lose it all.
Well, here's what you can do too. If you've got that,
not financial advice.
No, you got that special woman in your life. They have on sale right now at JM Bullion is a 24 karat bangle bracelet, 33 grams. I mean, if this isn't screaming to the
gender folk,
that they should buy this for, it's 1.061 troy ounce of 0.9999 pure gold. You can get that today for only, if you pay in crypto, $27.75. You pay with PayPal, $28.61. So you get a bonus if you pay with crypto. Maybe you should get that for the wife for our anniversary.
There you go. Yeah. Now, also keep in mind that gold is not a great trading commodity when shit hits the fan.
No, especially, although you could probably just break this thing in half and...
yeah, but it's worthless when it's broken in half. Here's the thing.
No, it's gold, baby.
Everybody thinks their gold has value, but the value is only what somebody's willing to give you in exchange for it.
True.
And in a shit hits the fan scenario, guess what I would be willing to give you for your gold Rolex watch that you paid $25,000 for?
Bullets? Lots of bullets?
I'm looking at, yeah. Lots of bullets, 50 bullets.
Hey, man, it seems like you're screwing me.
Because if you got 0 bullets and I have a solar powered watch to begin with, what should I do?
One bullet is more
I'm
than
going to trade you. I'm going to trade you not a whole lot of bullets for that gold watch. All jewelry. And it's funny we're talking about it because we talked about this in the last episode that I did with, asterisk Riffic Energy, because I don't want to get this podcast demonetized.
Right, only one at a time.
We had a whole episode, one at a time. We had a whole episode about prepping. So, and that episode is up if you haven't downloaded that one yet. And that's Sir Gene Speaks, so podcast@sirgene.com. And we talked about this, and he kind of was like, yeah, I like having gold. And I was like, okay, yes, but whatever price you're paying for gold, $2,000 an ounce right now, don't expect to get more than $200 an ounce if you're in a shit hits the fan scenario and you'd like to trade gold for food, gold for ammo, gold for anything, gold for gasoline, because the person buying your gold and selling something else, they will never get anywhere near that value that you paid for it originally now if they trade it. So they're not going to be willing to give you anywhere near that much money. So maybe it's going to be 100 bullets instead of 50 bullets, but
yeah,
it's definitely going to be way less than $2,000 worth of bullets.
Gold and silver are great as long as you don't get into the end of times scenario. You know, the Mad Max scenario. Once you're in the Mad Max scenario, then gasoline and bullets and food and all that kind of stuff goes way up.
I'm telling you, lead is the most precious metal of all.
Lead, baby. Especially if it's in a certain form.
Yeah, you can trade ammo. You will always be able to trade ammo. And right now, you know, we've been bitching about the price of ammo for a long time because ammo prices went up. Now they're slowly going down. But I did the math fairly recently. And I think right now we're at a point where 9mm ammo, adjusted for inflation, because we do have inflation, is at some of the lowest prices it's been at least since the 1990s. So in the mid 90s, late 90s, we were able to buy a 50 pack of 9mm bullets for about $8. So 100 pack was about $16 for 100. So about 16 cents a round. The cheapest I've seen right now is about $18 for a 50 pack. That's about double that price. But we're more than double in terms of overall inflation. So once you take an account for inflation, I think the ammo prices right now on at least the cheapest 9mm rounds are actually slightly cheaper than what they were adjusted for inflation back in the 90s. So it's 25, 30 years ago. So their ammo prices are not bad right now. And that same 50 round box of ammo, you're going to be able to trade probably for a Rolex watch that someone's going to be willing to give you. So I'd say that's a pretty good deal.
You can get 250 rounds from Midwest Ammunition, 9mm, 115 grams for $80.
$80. Yeah. So what is that per round then? So 80 by 250.
Yeah.
So what is that like? That's 32 cents a round.
Probably 30. Like it's probably 33.
33 cents a round. Yeah. 33 cents a round. So yeah. And that's, you know, that's about double, but inflation is more than double. So don't skimp on buying ammo. There's no such thing as too much ammo.
If you're going to buy gold, you may as well buy ammo.
Yeah.
32 cents. It's like 31.999. So yeah, 32 cents a round.
So I did that in my head pretty quickly, didn't I?
I mean, you are a genius after all.
That's technically true. I'm certified genius.
You're certified a lot of things.
Uh-huh. That's true too. I have been certified for a lot of things over the years.
I'm going to put them all down on your business card? No, you are not.
I used to have them all down on my business card. I had like 5 different certifications listed at the same time.
I just picture you taking your business card out and then it like folding down like 18 times.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a George Costanza wallet business card. That's exactly right. You've seen the video for the world's best business card, right?
I don't think so.
I'll try and find it. It came out like 20 years ago. It's an old video, but it's a guy showing his world's best business card to somebody that's interviewing him. And he explains why it's the world's best business card. And you have to watch the video because it's so over the top. It's hilarious. But
Baron Sir Spud the Mighty says, if you think the world's going to collapse, have an alcohol still. You'll have a job. You'll have a business.
That's true too. Yeah, it's a very good point because if you can produce something that you can trade rather than just acquire it right now by buying it and storing
then you're
it,
rich. Then
you have unlimited potential.
It's like Taylor Swift.
So
you just keep singing and putting songs out. That's more money.
And if you're her, you just sing the same exact songs that you used to sing, but now you
redo
them.
Right?
So,
it's I'm waiting for the redo. So the
right?
redo, and then there'll be the redo.
Why didn't Prince do this?
Because he was continually putting out new music, and
it's amazing. He had talent. That's. I've said enough.
Well, I will give you. He was one hell of a better musician than Taylor Swift is.
Yeah,
probably a better songwriter, but she's figured it out, man. I don't know. When you try to find out the reason why she's as popular as she is, it doesn't make sense.
No, because she's doing teeny bopper music. She's doing music for young girls.
Well, it's moved a little bit beyond that now, but still.
Well, she's doing music for 20-year-old girls.
Right, like 20 to 30. But what doesn't make sense.
That's so not true, dude. If you look at, I saw these stats recently. If you look at her actual buying audience, the people that go to her concerts, they're not 20 to 30. They're 14 to 26.
How do they afford the thousands of dollars?
Parents.
Yes, yeah.
Literally, even the 26-year-olds can't afford them.
Right, probably.
Those are still bought by parents.
Mommy, I want to go see Taylor Swift.
Yeah, and then by the way, we saw the picture of your new vehicle, your new truck on the.
See, I don't have a truck there. I mean, I would get a car rather than the truck, but
right, the truck is clearly way too butch for you. That's true.
There are so many gay guys that like Taylor Swift. That's true. Yeah. She appeals to so many people.
Yes, she does, and that should tell you something. I think it's funny that you're so into her, but you have to admit, there's not a whole lot of guys that look like you that are sitting there as her fans.
I don't know. I've never really paid much attention.
Yeah. Well, take a look at her concert videos. And
that's very clear. And this was on the one that they just released.
Mm-hmm.
Very clear. Watching the audience, all women and totally gay dudes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was
wait, didn't she just steal Madonna's audience then?
Maybe. But there was no doubt that this was cut together in a way to make sure, because we know there are guys that go with their daughters and stuff to the show. You didn't see any of them in the video. It was very, although I also understand
buying snacks.
I've worked for country music artists, so I know a little bit about this. Yeah. And I've been attending. I mean, if you watch there's a video which I don't think anybody really would care to see, but Martina McBride released a concert video back in the day, recorded in Minneapolis. And I was there, front row.
Where at?
And I forget the theater's name.
South Avenue? Oh, it was in the theater?
Yeah, it was in a, not a huge arena. It was in some place that maybe held, 3,000 to 5,000. A nice old theater.
Okay, I know where you're thinking of. I'm trying to remember what it's called.
I'm sure it can be easily figured out.
I know where it's at. It's off Nicollet Avenue, and it's goddamn, what was that place called? Yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
I don't remember, but it's the concept of when you're going to be recording, putting the people that you want in the areas that's going to be on camera is a thing. So if you think that the people you see on any concert video are overall just random people who happen to be there, I mean, that may be the case, but it's also quite possible that the people making the video are like, oh, well, this is going to be the section we're using for the crowd reactions. And here, we're going to give these tickets to, or as you're walking in, oh, attractive young girl, come on, here, you get to sit here. Oh, attractive young girl. Oh, come on, you can sit here. Oh,
somebody just sent in money.
And a millennial.
That's asking, Darren, have you ever seen the clown that hides from gay people?
Is that Ryan Bemrose? 5,000 Satoshis with that. The No Agenda Millennial. He does that show, the MMO show, the Multimedia Offensive podcast or something like that. Did I accidentally get it right?
So have you?
No, I don't think so.
Bump. There, good job, man. Good job.
Was I supposed to? Is it like the old joke? How do you keep an idiot?
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
I mean, people still fall for that one.
I know.
I mean, right now, NetNet's like, well, how?
That's a 5,000 Satoshis well spent.
Was that it? That was it? This was
That was it.
CSB's
right
like, this is this is what I need to do. Better jokes, CSB, better jokes.
Better jokes. Was it the Guthrie Theater?
Oh, it might have been.
No, it may have been
something.
There's a couple old theaters that I've been to that had live shows in,
and it was.
It wasn't Prince's place, right?
And I remember, no. And I remember the night before we went to see Trisha Yearwood at another theater. There were two of them, like right in the same area here. Let's see.
41 best live venues in Minneapolis. This has got to be on this list.
It's got to be in
top
there,
41. That's pretty much all of them, I would think.
They're pretty much all there. It was, they did a,
it wouldn't have been Varsity Theater. No, that Turf Club's way small. First Ave, probably not because it's not a theater, but that's where a lot of music was first played in Minneapolis.
There were 100 shows on this tour. It was 2007 to 2008.
Oh, Fine Line Music Cafe is still around. I saw a bunch of artists at Fine Line over the years. Opened up in 87, yeah.
It's
definitely not.
Where's Minneapolis? Minneapolis. It was a beautiful town
Target
back then.
Center.
You could actually
it used to be safe. You could walk around there without having to worry back then.
I know. I remember we were like standing outside drinking beer, and this like a homeless dude came by, and he's like, "Yeah, don't do that. They'll ticket you."
A homeless guy was giving you advice.
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly.
No, it wouldn't have been the Dakota. That wouldn't have been the Caboose.
It was a nice little theater, though.
Yeah, there's a couple of them out there that are nice little theaters. I'm still trying to find it in this list of top 41 different theaters. It's interesting that a lot of these are still around. Oh, the State Theater. That's what it was, I bet. The State Theater is a very 1930s looking kind of theater, and it's about that size that you described.
That seems about right.
Were you up on the balcony or in the...
No, I was in the front row, baby.
Oh, front row. Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah, I was working for her at the time. It's like, oh, you want
Historic
good seats?
State Theater seats 2,181 people. So that's probably what you were thinking of.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Because a lot of the other venues are very modern. This is one that actually looks very traditional classical theater. Yeah, parking sucks there. Still does, I'm sure.
Of course, as it does in most places.
Yeah, it's true.
But that's how I knew. It's like if you were going to be on the video, you can see me just standing right there in the front row, clapping around. I was a lot younger then.
God, I'm trying to. Yeah, and it wasn't like there's also bigger theaters, but that would be like, 8,000 people. But this clearly wasn't that. Or Target Center, which would be
that's
even bigger.
It was a nice little theater. I'm sure by the next time we get together, I can figure it out. That was
the Kitty Cat Club.
Back before Taylor Swift was a thing.
Yeah. Oh my God, this place is still around. Holy shit.
You want to go back? We have to do a tour maybe of...
I'm afraid of going back there, honestly. I don't want to be disappointed by seeing all these places and how they currently look.
Just be totally run down, totally screwed up. The whole city about to burn down because of horrible leadership.
Yeah, exactly. All of those things. It was, I played at a couple of places in Minneapolis, but my Flaming Jews band played at the Loring.
What kind of music was this?
This would have been, I'm trying to remember what we did. It was reggae.
The Flaming Jews reggae band.
Yeah. We weren't actually a reggae band, but
what were you?
We played reggae then. It was a very haphazard kind of thrown together last minute kind of thing.
Oh, so like this show.
kind of sort of like this show. So we all came from different, like I played accordion and drums.
At the same time, you are talented, my friend.
I know, right. I used my feet to play the accordion and my hands to play the drums. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Yeah, no, we did. God, I'm trying to remember if I guess it was technically ska. It wasn't reggae. It was ska.
Say goodnight, Gene.
Good night, Gene.